everybody, and welcome back to the Chilluminati podcast, episode 202. As always, I am one of your hosts, Mike Martin, joined by the Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis of LA, Alex and Jesse.
We're back across the ocean.
We're back across the ocean. We're back in America for this one.
Possibly in Las Vegas.
This is tough.
Possibly in Hollywood.
This is tough because I've got like the Jerry Lewis goofs, but also that Dean Martin swagger.
Yeah, that's a question.
It's a tough question.
You have to answer it. This is a question.
We'll leave it to the audience. No, the audience can take this one.
Yeah, this is going to be blowing up the servers on the Chilluminati subreddit. So you better go.
Yeah, which one of us is the Dino of the group?
Well, honestly, we got to remember over at Spotify now, because hey, if you guys listen on Spotify, first of all, follow us on Spotify. But there's now comment sections on episodes on Spotify
there are.
stuff, so you can answer there, and I could put up a poll, and I'll see you can answer it that way. Yeah, Spotify is becoming like they're trying to YouTubeify, I think, the audio entertainment sphere. We'll see how it goes.
Feel free to leave a thank you for the green stone.
Yes, dude. There's no middle ground on how the audience feels about the green stone. They love it or they despise it.
And now it's done. So like whatever.
Yeah.
Now I'm free and I never have to talk about it again.
Is that right?
Well, no, you're stuck because there's minisodes now that are going to be having bits and pieces of story about it. Isn't that right, Alex?
That's right. That's right. And you can get all of those minisodes at patreon.com/ChilluminatiPod, which is a great website that you should go to help us keep making this show for you. And especially episodes that aren't about psychic questing in the English countryside. But also, if there's enough demand, I promise that there's enough out there, information-wise, for me to scrape at least 9 or 10 more episodes together. So if you ever feel either way about it, please head over to patreon.com/ChilluminatiPod. There's art, there's pre-sale on merch, on tickets. You get ad-free episodes. You get our new show, Rotten Popcorn, where Mathis someday will finally watch the X-Files.
That's the next one.
And more.
You made me such a promise via text last night. I'm excited for
It was your birthday. Happy birthday.
It was my birthday. I'm a whopping
it's happening.
29 and holding, not moving an inch.
And holding. Hold on as long as you can, bud. Hold on as long as you can.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying so hard.
My grandma says she's 39 every year, and she just stopped at 39.
I might be the same way, honestly, when I get there. I'm at 37 now.
I stopped at 26, so it's like, it's cool.
Why 26?
You seem 26.
Thank you.
I agree.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It's a mental game until I'm Crypt Keeper status, and then I'll be 46.
I stopped at 69.
Nice.
Bam. And I stopped at 16, which explains why I want to fuck every alien that kind of comes into the show.
I remember when I was 16 and I was obsessed with having sex with aliens. It's a life rite of passage that everybody goes to.
It's an eye-opening realization, when you realize what you're meant to do in this world.
You suddenly chemicals that weren't there before are coursing through your body.
They're flowing. And it was when I was 16 when the internet was like a baby. It was new. You could go anywhere and see anything.
Any amount of clothing on aliens that you wish.
Man, squish, glass, and anus, and bleed. 2 girl, 1 cup.
What is
meat spin?
3 aliens, 1 saucer.
This explains everything. Actually,
lemon party. There's so many. There are so many things out there.
There are so many
things that I had to see with my own 2 eyes because I was young, naive, and believed anything my friend sent me to go.
You're
look
like
at.
Mathis GPT of all the like original porn memes.
A blue waffle. That's a classic. A gross one, but a classic. Yeah. We are a show for adults. If you're a child, please turn this off. If you're an adult, go to patreon.com/ChilluminatiPod.
I don't know if this is a show for adults. I just listened to what we talked about. I don't think this is for adults.
We're just going to go to Patreon, and one of the new Patreon benefits is just going to be Mathis listing off like raunchy stuff he remembers from like before 2006.
Man, I have a story about how I racked up like a $200 bill on my mom's phone because I was calling 1-900 numbers and didn't realize they charged.
Going to be. I will interview him, Mathis Tales from the Crypt, on Patreon. If that's what you want. How much will you pay?
I didn't talk to anybody. I just listened for like a minute, and then I would hang up.
That's a genius idea. We need a Tales from the Crypt for Mathis.
I'm super down. My life is fucked.
I'm really good at the Socratic method. I can really get it out of him. I can get him talking.
Yeah, it's really difficult. put me on a stage, I'll do the same thing. Like, it's kind of the same vibe. You put me on a stage and I just lose semblance of any shame.
Yeah, let us know how much you would pay for Mathis Tales from the Crypt.
Put it on the $20 tier, all right?
Yeah.
I'd sell my pass for $20 a pop.
I believe it.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
That's easy. I have a while. Did I tell you boys about the time I gave a girl $1 for dancing with her in 8th grade?
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
I just can't believe how open you admit to this nonsense.
Because it's like, it's so weird because I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter to me. Like, I was 13, maybe. So that was like 20 some odd years ago for one. And again, Jesse, remember that picture I shared with you? It's that kid. that kid is
my man. I
went through a lot.
I'm gonna let you know.
I got shoved in a locker for real.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was never a bully in school, but I'd bully you.
Everybody got a shot at me, man. Everybody got a pot shot at me. And then you go to sex ed with all of your biggest bullies in the grade.
If I was in school with you and I heard you gave a girl $1 to dance with, I'd be like,
dude,
yo, we gotta hike that guy's underwear up or something.
She was my crush, and I wanted to be like, man, that meant a lot to me. So I found the money my mom gave me for snacks, and I gave her $1. She didn't, and she asked what for, and I said I found it. I didn't tell her like why.
So she took it.
She took it. Yeah.
I can't believe
Jenna, if you're out there somewhere and you're weirdly listening, I'm very sorry.
I hope we get a message from Jenna, and it's like sweet. I'm like, you know what?
I hope so.
I took that $1 and I invested it in a lottery ticket. I won $40 million. Like I won.
If that happened, I don't know how. First of all, why aren't we married? That $1 is like.
I can explain why you're not married real easily.
I can too. Don't you worry. My life was wild, man. My life was wild. It explains why I am the way I am, Jesse, and I think it all makes more sense to you the more you learn.
I think it's endearing. I think it's good.
I think it's funny. I think it's hilarious.
I think it endears the audience to you. Also, I just wanted to point out, just because it's fun for me right now, that this call is called Chilluminati Podcast instead of podcast, which is like, it's just a dumb mistake, but it's funny to me right now reading it that it says Chilluminati Podcast here on the call.
I didn't even realize I did that.
It means nothing. No one can see it.
No.
It's just for us. It's just for us here on this side of the screen.
But you might be seeing our faces in minisodes moving forward at a higher tier because people have been begging for it. I don't know why they want to look at our faces, but
Mathis wants me to clean my house. I'm gonna become a VTuber. Just
I can't even see anything behind you, man. The window is so narrow.
It's actually a very clean house, except for the multiple cans of water in the background.
Yeah, water.
The recyclable water.
Anyway, it's my birthday this week, which means I didn't do shit very much, but it didn't mean I don't want to bring you guys an episode. And there's something I've been meaning to talk about in the minisodes the past few weeks that we just haven't gotten to. We got sidetracked by AI, and then last week we just didn't have time. So I figured might as well talk about it as sort of a pseudo part 2, even if it isn't really a part 2, to our episode from a month or two ago of the modern day Rosswell. We're living through like a modern day Rosswell, because since that episode, so much shit has happened that it's worth kind of covering, I think. Even the videos that have the one that came out last night that Jesse sent the chat, which is a wild one to talk about. It's really good. The one where the pilot's driving by and that weird UFO kind of zips by him, and he's opened up more about that experience and put out a bigger, longer video of it. So much has happened, but the big thing we can really start with is that the open Senate hearing that we talked a little bit about in the minisode happened. And there was a few useful things that came out of it. We're not going to go over the videos we talked about in the minisode already. We will mention that 3 videos were released, one of a top-down view in a non-combat zone in the Middle East of the silver orb moving at a high rate of speed, being tracked by a drone camera, and you can watch it kind of zipping around. They blurred out all the telemetry, so it's very difficult to figure out exactly how high it is. And then the other 2 were over water, and it looked like IR or like black and whites, like whatever those visions are that the military uses of an object way out there moving very weirdly. It's hovering and then zipping back and forth and then doing what most people describe UFOs doing when they see them in the sky before they zip away, just moving in ways that don't make any damn sense. And then the other thing was they released a graph showing hotspots where a lot of UFOs are seen, along with a pie chart of the shapes and types of UFOs that are seen most commonly, which is it's such a weird looking graph when you know it's coming from the Department of Defense. It's so college-y in a weird way, the way you look at it, the way they pie chart it out, but it's like over 50%, a majority.
Like it's
are
academic.
orbs.
It's so college-y, bro.
It almost just doesn't, it doesn't look like what you would expect. I would expect like the government to give us a piece of paper.
You mean it looks
and
like
in
a
words
project?
Say like 51% are orbs, this and this, this and this.
Yeah.
It was made for the general public to be able to ingest, I think, easier, which is not something I expected the government to do at all.
Are you trying to say, well, we'll wait. We'll wait till we get there.
Sure.
Who does the graphic design on this stuff, do you think? Is it like
An intern?
Intern.
Like an intern?
Yes.
Some intern. Are you kidding
100%.
me? Somebody fresh out of college.
If you're the intern who I don't need any classified info. I just want to know if you're the intern who does the classified details, like the documents, if you do those charts and stuff that are going out to the public, hit us up. If you're listening to the Chilluminati pod, let us know. I want to know what it's like to be a graphic designer publishing
For the government.
Recently top secret details on a chart.
Yeah.
That's fun.
It's fascinating. But the other thing we kind of learned and we didn't talk about in the minisode is we learned that for one reason or another, the DoD is really slow rolling getting Arrow everything that they've requested. They still haven't gotten their full funding yet. There's still only 3 fucking people working at Arrow, which we have more people that work for Chilluminati at this point than there are people that work at AARO.
Yeah.
And the files that have been requested still haven't been sent over by the DoD, which they should have by now. And that came out during the hearing as well, is that for whatever reason, they're really pushing back on giving Arrow what they're requesting. And that's slowing Arrow doing their job, which is to go back to 1945 and begin going over all of the crashes, sightings, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And there's a lot of, again, rumors and potential reasons as to why, coming from people that are relatively trustworthy and others that are dubious at best. But a lot of it seems to be, the thing I keep hearing again and again is that there are people in the government, a lot of them, that don't want this topic to go much further because they truly believe it's religious. It's like demonic in some way. It's not aliens, it's Satan. And it's, this is not something we should be messing with and whatnot. And it's just, if that's true, that's infuriating, but I can also see that being true. But then there's the other side of things from like Chris Mellon, people that I kind of put a little bit more trust in, that are just like, the reason it's taking such a long time is because the truth is so much weirder than the public is ready to hear. Like there's more to it than just nuts and bolts aliens zipping across the galaxy to come see us, that it might be, interdimensional or some sort of reality-based thing or some sort of thing that we as humans just can't sense properly. It's more woo-y. The woo is around the corner.
I'm really starting to like get into that mode. I'm starting to get that vibe from this stuff.
I'm a man with feelings, sentimental. I miss my family. I moved all the way to Texas from Massachusetts. I miss them dearly. But I'm also a tech-savvy guy, and I also don't go out to print photos. Yeah, when was the last time you went out and printed a photo? Exactly. You're lying to me if you say anything other than I haven't, because I swear to God, I just haven't. But I take pictures all the time on my phone, and they just sit there for me to show other people, but I can't hang my phone up on my wall. Well, thanks to Aura Frames, I actually have a really good solution. Thank you to Aura Frames for sponsoring today's video. Whether you're tech savvy or not, I think Aura Frame is just a great thing to have or gift to somebody else. It is super easy to set up. I just took it out of the box, put it where I would want my picture frame, plugged it into the wall, and just downloaded the app. They instantly recognized each other. I could upload any photo I want, and I could change how fast the photos turned, if there was even a animation for it or not, and I could add and subtract any photo I wanted at any time, anywhere from the app. It's actually really great, and I'm really addicted to it. It just sounds weird. I'm always cycling photos out, and you can then go into the app and then highlight photos that you took off the rotation and put them back on the rotation. You can even put little videos on there if you want. It's freaking awesome. And look, I get it. Oh, they're paying you, Mike. Yeah, no, okay, they are. But also, I really do love this frame. And if you don't believe me, you can also take the name of, Wirecutter, the strategist, and one of Oprah's favorite things. Everybody gets bees, guys, so get an Aura frame. And Aura frames are guaranteed to make mom or grandma smile. If this sounds good to you, well, lucky you. Aura has a great deal for Mother's Day. Listeners of our show can save on the perfect gift by simply visiting auraframes.com. That's AURA frames.com, and you use code CHILL and you'll get up to $30 off plus free shipping on their best-selling Carver matte frames. This deal ends on May 14th, so don't wait. And of course, terms and conditions apply. I want to thank Aura Frames again for sponsoring today's video.
Like, I think the reason that it's hard to understand it is because there's like a very big key thing missing about it that we just can't even like stomach.
And that maybe the government themselves doesn't even fully fucking comprehend. Like, which is
that's wild to me.
Going back to what you were saying about, religiousness and like, I think that most religious people would be fine if it was like an alien showed up from Alpha Centauri, right?
Because if
like,
God created us, then God should have created
anything.
Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not from this realm.
Yeah.
But if it's multiple realities and multiple levels of existence, that's the stuff that's going to trip people up. That's going to blow people's minds.
Yeah. But even then, I'm curious, like, I feel like religion should still be able to, for the most part, accept that as well. If God is everywhere all the time, created everything, that he created the layers of reality, the layers of whatever.
Try to convince, like, middle America, though. You know what I mean? Like, I could convince Mathis in a second.
Yeah, fair. Or the older generation, especially.
Yeah, it's a very, like, Christian-centric version of this, because there are many other religions that would be totally fine. Like, yeah, all right. But I think the problem that we have, at least in the States, is that our version of Christianity is like, very warped. Somehow, the dude who was like, give up all your possessions and treat people well is now rich, is successful, and it means you have God's favor. And, like this weird, like there's
the prosperity gospel is what it's called.
Yeah. But there's also along lines of like,
they made like a way for rich people not to be evil in the Bible somehow.
Well, there's also like, when you're talking to somebody who's Christian, you have to also ask them, what version of the Bible do you follow? Is it the King James, the classic Christian, the Catholic, this, and they all have different interpretations and different wording.
Western Bacon Bible.
You don't
sure. I mean, but the thing is that our version has, especially in the evangelical community, warped this thing where it's like, it is this is doctrine. Vaccines are bad. The earth is like, dinosaurs are fake, like that kind of thing. And those are the people that I would be concerned about if they were told like, yo, there's another layer of reality on top of ours. I'd be like, all right, we got to watch out for them. They're about to go crazy.
Yeah. And I agree that can shake. I can see that shaking a lot of their foundation. It's fascinating. It's fascinating because like you said, Jesus was the exact opposite of that. And like the Bible, as like someone who grew up and was raised Catholic from age birth to 18, 19 before it was finally over, like
I was raised Christian.
You get it. Like
I get it's a totally different story than what we see the modern sort of religious part of this country talk about. It's wild.
The Bible warns about how Satan and all that is there to trick you, to coerce you, to pretend to be something that he's not. And if you look at it from even just that perspective, those who have been erred into the way of wealth being the way of the Bible, couldn't that just be Satan pulling them gently?
I've literally asked that question. Why no one asked that? But the thing is because
people do ask that all the time. They're just like, they sound crazy.
You know what I mean? Like people, like why no one stops to think like, maybe I'm wrong, but we've talked about this before. People don't like to think I'm wrong. You know what I mean? Like they don't like that.
No, you can't get anything done if you think you're wrong.
I'm not saying it's a cult either. It's not, but it's that cult mentality of, you have to, once you admit to yourself whatever you've believed is wrong, it shakes the foundation of who you are. And that can be too much.
It makes you into a zealot.
Yeah. People would fight back the idea that, there's a lot of outside influence on the world. Like there's another reality or like aliens, they'd still be scared. And that's the problem. And the reason why I'm worried about that is this is a country where 90% of the decisions we make are somehow either held up or controlled by this very small 30% of the population, maybe. And that's tough because that's the people that I'm like, I think most people in America would be like, yeah, it's chill. Like I'm high right now. So like, it's chill.
But what if Ozymandias is right? What if aliens making themselves known is the thing that's going to unite us? And the reason that we're like covering it up is because we, you know how like people go to another country and then suddenly they realize, especially Americans, they realize they're like not the main character of the world anymore. Like they learn that there's like lots of different cultures and you got to fit in and whatever. Hopefully that's what you learn. Like, what if the alien existing is that thing? Like the governments have decided that we're all going to be like at peace together and want to cooperate because there's aliens now. So maybe they're trying to control us and keep the world order the way that it is. you know, I mean, I'm getting into crazy territory, but like, you know, what if it's the opposite, you know?
No, I mean, like, I'm going to take that crazy thought and run with it for a second here, because I mean, that is another obvious, there's so many theories out there. So just, you know, I preface this when I say this is a theory, it's because there are a lot of thoughts that are very similar to what we're all having as well, is that, you know, the idea of capitalism and the way we live our lives doesn't necessarily fit how we as humans naturally would want to live in the first place. We're very communal based kind of species. And there is on that Chris Mellon idea of, you know, the slow roll is kind of coming along in a way because it's a little weirder. There's a lot of thought out there is that the Eastern style of religion, of like Hinduism and Buddhism and all that stuff, is way closer to what actually might be the reality of our situation and how reality actually is than the Western look of like this hierarchy of like God and this, that, and the other, and a much like more strict
single
world.
Characters.
And that kind of all feeds into it. I'm not saying it's true or not, but that's something that's out there. That, you know, if reality is just something we cannot comprehend, then it makes sense, because it would mean, I mean, listen, we exist in a capitalist world. I'm successful in a capitalist world. I'm not stupid. I'm grateful for this show, but at the same time, like, capitalism does ruin a lot. Like it ruins a ton, and it eventually will run its course. And a lot of the time when capitalism is at the brink of collapsing, it's socialist policies that save capitalism, never capitalism policies that save like socialism. Right. You know what I mean? And so it's just not, I think that's, the natural way of our life, or what we believe to be the natural way of our life, collapsing under the realization that reality is much stranger, is definitely a worry, I think, on some level.
It's true. I mean, I don't think that anybody should be able to stop this information from getting out there, though.
Well, as we get to the videos, I feel like we're getting to a point where it's harder and harder for them to keep it under wraps.
But with that said, using sort of like the devil's advocate here, which I'm sure I'll get a message like devil's advocate.
Satan.
Scully's advocate. No worries.
A Scully's advocate.
Yes, I get that. Even though I haven't seen the series, I do get that.
Thinking of it this way, in that, imagine cars that can fly. Everyone's like, where's our flying cars? We were promised flying cars, that kind of stuff. Imagine flying cars.
Melissa Etheridge really wants to know where the fuck those flying cars are.
Imagine flying cars. Great concept. Very cool. Now that you have cars that can fly, how on earth do we create sky lanes?
Oh, yeah.
Levels of flight. When you see in Star Wars, for example, and they're on Coruscant, you see like the lanes of cars flying in the sky. How do you manage that? How do you say, oh, well, this is a lane and that's a lane? Like, how do you and it's that kind of thing that I think, if this is all real, if there are aliens and they're hanging.
Are you saying these are like nuts and bolts, physical, planet to planet?
Yeah, there's things that as a governmental body,
you have to figure out.
We already exist in one space, right? Mm-hmm. To add additional stuff to that creates so many. It's like cloning. Like, we can clone. We know we can clone, but the ethics of we cloned a person, now that's a whole other, and it's these kind of things that
same thing with AI. Yeah,
same with AI. It's these kind of things where it's like, not only philosophical, but also morally and ethically things we need to think about. Like, it's philosophy, basically.
Agreed.
And if you're going to expose the vast majority of the world, and I'm going to, let's be honest, the vast majority of the world is not ready to sit there and have a conversation about flying cars, let alone aliens from space or an alternate reality.
We can't even get fucking electric vehicles to be mainstream. So, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So we, for what we are, as, we think of ourselves as like intelligent beings.
We're intelligent
just
on
like
Earth.
We're like glorified apes. Let's be real.
We're monkeys.
Yeah.
With that's good outfits.
That's the other thing, Chris. Not to interrupt you, Jesse, but just to throw this in there for context too. Is like, what if the truth of it is that also that we have been being very like a control group tampered with, not because we're important, but because we're something just so much bigger and grander than we understand. That would also destroy people's conception of a god, because we've been created via science, not via religion.
But like, this is one of the things that always upsets me about the fragility of religion sometimes. Where it's like, if I was a believer in this like omnipotent, omnipresent God who knew everything, I would be like, okay, so we were created by this other thing, but who created them? God did. And I'd be like, I would get there and I'd be fine in the end. And I always think that when people are just like, if I'm religious, I'm going to go crazy if I hear that I was created in a tube. It's like, people are created in tubes frequently,
Still,
and they can still be religious. Yeah, like
think about COVID. Think about like when the zeitgeist was assaulted by the idea, the concept that a deadly virus was sweeping throughout the globe and causing deaths. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, think about how you reacted to that news. Think about like, it was kind of a slow burn.
I'm one of the ones that had lost somebody to that shit. Like, I know.
Yeah, I mean, same.
It's insane that people are like, it doesn't kill. I'm like, bro, it's more than 4 times deadly than the normal flu virus.
Well,
like,
that aside, I just mean like, even without the like people that just like flat out, refuse science, right? Like, just you, the fully intellectual free thinker, right? The genius, whatever.
Oh yeah, it's
like,
me, baby. Yeah,
I'm just saying, like, it's a lot to grapple with, and I didn't, for example, handle that news and that situation exactly how I thought that I would. And I think like a large reason that we're scared is just because it is going to put us into a situation that's beyond our prediction. You know what I mean? And I don't know what is like worse news or better news. I don't think it actually is possible to tell that. I just think like a large portion of why the secrets are there is just to avoid uncomfortable questions.
I think that's partially. I think that holds a lot of truth.
Speaking of uncomfortable, during that first March of COVID, for 3 weeks I had to use paper towels to wipe my ass.
Yes.
So just,
oh my God.
Remember that stores had nothing in them.
The only toilet paper I could find was like a vanity toilet paper that had jokes written on them. And I bought the 4 that were left, and they were like thick, regular paper. But I was like, God, it's the only thing I can find.
You got it. And there was a panic. There was, and no matter what, anytime there's a major changing anything that upsets anything of a normal daily routine, there's a panic. And people get upset and get worked up. And it takes time for us to sort of get in this groove and accept things. And that works against us too.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Especially here in the States today. And many days this week, there have been mass shootings. And we're just like, another day in the news.
Dude, there was one in my town and in the town over from me within a week.
Yeah.
In Texas.
Yeah. I don't think this would happen with aliens, though. I don't think we would just like not care about aliens.
No, but I'm saying
it would shake the world, though. I mean, it would shake the world,
obviously, yes. But it's one of those things where humanity, our whole deal is we are designed to adapt. That's what we do. Like, that's what sets us aside from every other animal that exists on this planet, is we adapt and overcome every single time. We, like most animals, have a habitat. Mm-hmm. They live in a certain place and they do not leave that place. Or if they're like a bird, they move between them because they know they couldn't leave there. We are like, less clothes, more clothes.
That's it. Yeah.
Right? Like, we like build a house, put on air conditioning. Like, we adapt so well. And that's also mentally we adapt. And again, sometimes it's bad. Sometimes it's like guns were like, that's life. And then sometimes it's amazing things. And we're like, wow, we have the ability to literally find stuff on our phone at any point in time. And 20 years ago, you could not do that.
We just internalized it too. Like,
yeah, oh yeah.
People from other countries getting mad because I don't text them back within 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the reality of life now. Like, that's so inconceivable. I remember I used to date a girl from Germany when she was in Germany, and it was like hard for us to like communicate because we had to like figure out when we could both do it, and it would be like sometimes a delay or sometimes the internet wouldn't be good enough. Like, totally different. And we just internalize it. And if we can do it in fiction, if we can understand multiverses, maybe we can do it in reality. You know what I mean? Like, maybe that like think tank thing about prepping our brains is real. You know what I mean?
It's such it's another it's not a question to dive into now, but it's an interesting one to think about. It's like, were we ready for constant, instant, global communication?
No is the answer.
I would say no as well. You know, no.
Look at how I look now. I used to smile all the time.
Remember smiling?
I used to put my phone down. Remember?
Yeah, I do. No, I was always a gaming addict, though. I was always in front of something.
But like, it goes back to what we were talking about when we started the show about on the Patreon doing a VOD version of those shorter episode bits. The idea that we sat around and were like, God, should we do that?
Yeah.
Like, it's because it's nice to let your guard down and not have to just be on all the time or like looking to like, And that's part of it. And the people listening right now who want that stuff should understand that, like, that's putting on a show every time. Rather than just having a conversation between friends, we're now on a different level.
Yeah.
And it's that kind of thing where
now I have to like put on an outfit, you know, it's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know that there's gonna be someone like, well, that's what we want. Like, okay, you say that, but you know, there's
small things can make big changes.
Absolutely. That's the point I'm making. Absolutely.
And with these things, whatever they are, there was a time I actually thought that humanity would be fine. If we realized what it was, humanity would be fine. But the more I got into the subject and the more I started being like, I don't know if this is necessarily like nuts and bolts, like aliens from another planet anymore. Then I was like, oh yeah, no, I don't think humanity could handle this.
Or if they're like a water people that have always been here, that'll be scary.
There's also, what if it's more than just one thing? What if it's like all of the above?
We're living in Star Wars. Yeah.
Speaking of water people, this week, a big article was posted about the sentience of octopi.
Oh, they have to be, man. Those things.
And how they are truly like on our level almost of sentience. Were the thought I had the entire time was like, are they terrified of? I'd be terrified living under, like, if you have that level of sentience where like stuff's always coming to get you, you have to live in like a cave.
Okay.
I'd be like, nah, bro.
Here's a fun
couldn't
thought.
do it.
Apes, chimpanzees and stuff, they're like 2% away from us in DNA. What if octopi are like 2% away from whatever's deep down that actually lives there?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the type of thing.
They're like the chimpanzee to whatever sentient life lives way beyond we can explore.
You would have figured, see, like that's one of those things where after we polluted enough of the ocean, you would have figured they would have been like, enough, you know?
But are we getting anywhere near where they live? We've explored 2% of the ocean total.
I mean, it may not
Makes you
be.
think?
Did we
remember the shark
there?
thing?
But the biodiversity of the ocean, we're ruining the hell out of that.
We're destroying like the reefs and everything near us.
But maybe they don't even like. Maybe that doesn't affect them anymore. Maybe they just have filters.
They're like, like creepy reef monsters, and they're like way down in the trenches.
Maybe they're spacefaring if they,
like maybe they can like teleport and they have filters and they don't even like need to worry about the water getting dirty because they have
maybe
magic.
They're us and they're our twins and we're also blue and maybe they have wings.
But what if, so
maybe
hey,
it can be anything.
Hilarious you bring that up because that's the other only like big theory I was going to bring up is like there's also some people online is like they are us, we are them kind of thing. That they may exist outside of time or have figured out how to move through time in a weird way because space and time are, as we've talked about a million times, not really real in the sense that we understand it to be.
Now you're back in the green stone.
Yeah, but I honestly, if they're like them being time traveling humans in some way is to me the least likely, I think, scenario for it to be if we are saying this is something out of not within the realm of our own creation.
Honestly, anything that we're talking about right now is the craziest thing that's ever happened in the history of mankind, regardless of what you're talking about.
Yeah, people lived through UFO mania in the 50s, but nothing like this.
Anything. If it's anything having to do with space, if it's anything having to do with another dimension, if it's anything having to do with time travel, anything about any of those being real,
it's a game changer.
Anything, it's the thing that defines our life on this planet as a species immediately.
Yeah. And I wonder, too, if like a lot of this is coming forward because private companies are now starting to look into getting to space. And it might be just like one of those things. It's almost like a given that they're going to see something at some point. I don't know. It's possible because we got SpaceX and there's another one. I know there's the Mars group that is attempting to like put together a private company to fly to Mars.
The difference
I'll pay attention when they do something successful.
Yeah, the difference is they aren't out there trying to like explore the cosmos. They're not Star Trekking.
They don't have that kind of money. Yeah.
Yeah. Their thing is like, how can we get our billionaire founder and his new moon base? You know what I mean? Like they're not.
It's capitalism. It's not. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's true. Which actually, we can just segue right into that to the videos that have popped up over the past couple of weeks. We should just start with the newest one. The one that Jesse sent to the text message last night.
That was your birthday gift last night. It was
it was a great birthday gift. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Just wait till you find out about X-Files, my man.
I know. I found out about it. I promise. I just haven't watched it yet.
No. Once you realize it's the show that you watched in your childhood that made you complete.
If I was watching this as a child, would I have found myself? Would I have I would know and be secure in who I was at an earlier age?
You're going to watch it and then you're going to fade like the Back to the Future picture and then you're going to be like all yoked and like you're going to You're gonna own like an AR-15.
Hell yeah. What? Thank you to today's sponsor, HelloFresh. And with HelloFresh, you know what you're getting. You're getting farm-fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes that are just delivered to your doorstep. And for me, it's always that convenience, to know that I'm not gonna have to stress about going grocery shopping or spending too much money. Hell, at this point, I actually don't even pick what box they're gonna send me. I just kind of like let them decide, because I have yet to find a meal that I just didn't like. And that alone is enough for me to have been with them for over a year at this point. Make mealtime easy for yourself with delicious recipes made with fresh, wholesome ingredients delivered right to your door. No lines, no hassle, just great tasting meals you can whip up and enjoy in the comfort of your home. And if you ain't worried about your weight like me, HelloFresh has 40 weekly recipes to choose from for all meal occasions, lifestyles, and preferences. Take your pick from meals like soy glazed salmon with rice or mushroom and chive risotto, which that one personally I freaking love. Let HelloFresh take the meal planning out of your hands so you can just worry about the stuff that matters way more. Listen, if you want to give HelloFresh at least a try, go to HelloFresh.com/chill60 and use our code chill60 so you can get 60% off and free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com/chill60 using code chill60 for 60% off your order and free shipping. There's no reason not to go try it out to see if this is something you're going to like. And thank you again to HelloFresh for sponsoring today's episode. They are America's #1 meal kit. I live in Texas, all right? I have a pistol, all right? Everybody back off. I'll pop a cap in your rear
I'm learning
end.
So much.
It's not my pistol.
None of it good.
It's not my pistol. It's not mine. I don't want, it's going to scare me. I don't even like touching it. It makes me nervous.
Actually, no, that's a lie. Years ago, someone sent me one of those like BB guns, except it's bright pink. So like I have a gun too, technically.
Okay.
That's kind of cool.
It's in a storage locker somewhere.
I have
so
the.
When you're old,
I just
broke,
remembered
living
that.
in the middle of the woods, and there's kids coming to your lawn, you can start popping BBs
I'll pull out
at
my
them.
neon pink BB gun and be like, "Get off my lawn, you crazy kids!"
That's a Time Crisis gun, PS2 version. So technically, I own a gun too. It comes with a holster that you can put on your waist, so you can like put it in a holster.
Mine has no BBs, so like that's probably bad, but it looks nice.
Mine's a light gun, fires light.
It says for girls on it.
My God. Now I need to see this. You got to bring. No, you can't bring it to a live show because it's a BB gun. Oh God! I wish you could take that into a live show and do something with that.
No.
I know you can't. I know you can't. It's a BB gun, but we
can pose with it like Lee Harvey Oswald.
Oh hell yeah!
There is a photo of me out there. Oh, not like Lee Harvey Oswald, but there's definitely a photo of me being like Bond, looking cool. Air quotes.
I don't know how cool you're looking. Yeah.
Jesse, why don't you explain to us the video that you shot off to us last night, what it is of, where it came from, and what we're looking at. And for people who are looking for it, Dean, I'm going to give you a link to the so you can grab it and send it to me as part of the package, just so I don't lose it, basically.
Okay, so this video is one that was posted to Reddit. It may still be on the front page. It was posted a day ago. It's on our UFOs if you really want to see it.
It's pretty good.
And it's titled Amazing Footage of Cylindrical UFO Film by Drone in Hungary. And it's like basically one of the best videos I've ever seen of any UFO. And that's why I think it may not be UFO, but also it's so well, like it moves in a way that I've never seen anything move before.
Yeah.
Right. And may not be alien. It's definitely UFO. I don't know what it is. It's unidentified, but
yeah, go ahead.
It's something all right. And it's crazy looking.
Before we move on to that, I want to give you a comparison photo for another cylindrical UFO that was filmed in Connecticut, Fairfield, Connecticut specifically. And there's a comparison. You can compare side by side right there. And you can see the shots of the one in Connecticut compared to the one from Hungary.
It is absolutely the same thing.
Wow. Whatever that is, that's what they all are to me.
Wow. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah. When I saw that, I was
makes sense. It makes sense why people think it's a disc.
Looking at this is like your classic,
makes sense why people say it's a cigar.
This is your classic Tic Tac cigar, cylindrical shaped UFO. And the way it moves in the video is it's just like it's going at a ridiculous speed, and it dips down, then like straightens out, then dips down again, and straightens out. And they've the shot where the drone took it, which was far away, and then a zoomed in version that's tracking it, so you can see it up close, so you can compare it. And it is, if this is what people are seeing and we're finally seeing it and like, this is awesome. This is like fucking cool shit.
It's such high quality that the zoom in is clear. It is something that is done at 60 FPS. So it looks like it's moving and you can see it move and see it dip through the clouds. And it looks like
you see it. Yeah.
It looks like a real thing, not like a fake BS, unless this is the greatest CG in the world.
No one's debunked
like
it
they
yet.
pulled off the greatest.
Which it could be.
It is amazing looking. And
it could be the greatest CG in the world, just to be real. But
you always that chance. Of course, there's always that chance.
Yeah.
But it's just
it
the way it interacts
looks,
with the actual clouds and the way it's moving through the environment.
Yeah, it looks like it's there. It's present. Size makes sense. The wide shot, it's very, very small, almost indistinguishable. The close-up is like... the best way to describe it is from the angle we have, it's either a completely flat disc and we're only seeing one part of it and sort of like a 2D plane kind of thing, or it's like a giant flying metal cigar. I'm not sure which. It's incredible looking. It's wild. Could it be anything? Sure. Could it be alien? Sure. I have no idea what it is.
The way it moves is insane. That's what gets me about it. Is like,
it
and
looks
it fits
so
the description.
real.
Look, there's no apparent mode of propulsion. There's no propulsion system that you can. There's no contrails. There's no fire or heat that you can see. Now, granted, we don't have like an IR sensor. Would have been awesome to have it, but it's just drone footage.
It looks like there's at least some logic to it. Like, it's definitely not like, let's say, like debris.
No,
you know
it looks
I mean?
like it's moving in a particular fashion. It looks like it's crashing. It looks like it's in control of itself. Whatever it
seems
is.
like it's made by technology. You know what I mean? It doesn't look like magic totally. It
Correct.
looks like it could be. It feels like there's some sort of consistency to it. I don't know what it is. It doesn't look like any sort of propulsion that I know of.
I don't see any propulsion from that at all.
Yeah. Just has the vibe of like there being logic to it, which is kind of weird to say, but I don't know if you know what I mean.
No, I know exactly what you mean. There does seem like an intelligence is maneuvering it, even if it's like an AI or a machine guiding it somewhere. Because the other thing that I posited in the text yesterday was that it might, like, the only thing I can think of is that maybe it's like a cruise missile or a missile of some kind.
But it moves in a way that I've never seen a missile move ever.
But we also have that also when I came across the photo of the Connecticut one, I don't think they were shooting missiles over Connecticut that looked like that. So
it looks like a fucking train. It looks like a choo-choo train out of control on no tracks, like flying through the sky. Doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a good way to describe it, honestly. Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it any better than that. It looks like a fast motion choo-choo train, like a model choo-choo train. I don't know why I'm saying choo-choo train. But a model train.
Keep it going. I like
just
it.
going down the tracks.
I'm trying to look at the
you know what I mean?
pie chart from last time as well, because I'm trying to see where the UAP hotspots were and if Hungary was one of them. Yeah, some people are saying maybe it could be like a misguided like Ukraine missile or something, but again, there's the comparison to the Connecticut one. It looks exactly the same. It looks fucking identical. And it looks like a smooth metal with no corners. It just looks like a freaking pill. It's so bizarre.
Yeah. Which is like so consistent with like 50 years of sightings.
What, Jesse, are you reading something? You look lost in the research right there.
So there's a video on YouTube of this dude going through some of this footage. And
okay,
yeah, it's like comparative. I'm trying to figure out what the point is. It's not in English, so it's very hard. But it's this comparative of just trying to figure out if it is in fact real or something that was layered or CG. And it definitely, the more high res you get it, the problem is stuff starts artifacting.
Yeah, because if you're upscaling it artificially, it's just the computer can only do so much.
Yeah, and so there's some shots where it looks like, oh, that is clearly put in there because it's brighter and shinier than everything else around it. But that's also, I'm watching them upscale it right now. So, like, I don't know that that's, as a guy who wants them to be like, it's actually just some sort of fake thing. The more they mess with it, the more it looks fake, but it's also because they're messing with it. So I don't know.
This shout out to Dean, who just dropped us a link as well. Of another sighting in Colorado of 95. Home video, you can hear their kid in the background as they're zooming in, and it looks like a camera from 95, but it's still pretty clear.
Similar.
Of another Tic Tac that looks like that.
Similar craft.
Except
Tic
that one
Tac
has
is like
lights.
it's less a Tic Tac and more of a flying blunt.
I wish that's what it was.
It looks like a train, man. Like it looks like a little train.
I don't understand. Like, are you mean the way it moves? It looks like a train.
Even it literally looks like a CG model of if you, and I'm not saying this in a way where it looks computer graphics. I just mean like if you somehow had footage of a train from a far distance going down like a crazy track, and then you just like digitally removed the track, and the train was like silver. That is exactly what it looks like.
What you're saying? Yeah, I can see that.
Whoa, gentlemen! I found it. The raw 4K footage. This is what we need. This isn't the close up. This is the raw. This is amazing looking.
6 seconds long.
Oh my God.
That's so good. You know what? I'm so impressed.
Yeah, holy shit.
That's real, man. That has to be real.
That's insane, man. Holy shit.
The best part about this is on the Reddit post, besides the fact that everyone on r/UFOs is being like, normally I want to leave this subreddit because it's usually trash, but this one's good. Besides the fact that everyone's losing their mind, one user who is user 678990655, who I guess is the original poster, said this video displays 4 of the 5 observables.
Observables, yeah, I read that. Mm-hmm.
And literally, the only one not present is traveling between different types of environments.
Transmedium transportation is not visible.
But the object is seen behind clouds, low visibility. The object shimmers with a metallic surface. The object is seen making multiple sharp turns at a very high speed, instant acceleration, and the original uploader stated it made no sonic boom. So, when it should be, considering the speed, and the object is calculated to be going roughly 1,800 kilometers per hour.
What's that translate to in freedom units? Because I don't know how fast that is.
And if you look at the MP4, that's the big 4K version.
I saved it and everything.
That thing is it is moving so quickly. It's moving faster than jet planes, dude. What an amazing image. Like that 6 seconds is incredible.
Look at the way you can even see how it comes out of the clouds almost directly down, almost like it's like a 75-degree angle, the way that thing comes out of the clouds.
1,200 miles an hour it's moving.
Holy shit.
It looks different than I thought.
I got goosebumps, man. Oh, this is everything I've ever wanted to just see on camera.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Thank you,
But
dude.
the crazy thing about this is you could say
awesome.
Maybe it's a bird or maybe it's something, but
it doesn't look
based on the angle of the camera and where everything is in the shot
and how it interacts with the clouds,
it is not one of those things where it's perspective based. Not at all. It cannot be.
No, because you can see the sun hitting it and then it vips off into the clouds right there, which are clearly higher than the hills, I guess you would call those. Maybe a mountain. Holy, that's like this is the
unless it's light, because it does at if you watch the 6 seconds video, it does kind of come out of the middle of the clouds on the left, zip back into the clouds like it came from somewhere. I don't know what direction it was, but yeah, man, unless it's like a weird light artifact or something, but it clearly qualifies as a UFO.
It looks like real footage.
Yeah, I'm not a videography expert, but if that's a light artifact, that's fucking wild.
Whatever this is, whatever it could be, and the possibility of whatever it is, it 100% qualifies as a legit real UFO.
And this is
it looks wackier than I ever expected.
It looks about what a Tic Tac I expected a Tic Tac to look like.
But we never see them move. This is movement that looks impossible to do.
It looks alien. It looks unreal.
And it's because it's a 4K fucking camera, so nobody can be like,
this is all I've ever asked for on this entire show for 200 episodes. When everyone's sending us this is Bigfoot and it's grainy as shit, or here's UFO and it looks like it's from 1940. This is all I've ever wanted.
On April 15th, 2014, outside of the movies and TV show, Disney rebooted the Star Wars universe, wiping out almost 40 years of characters, continuity, and culture. Now, in 2023, internet microphone talkers Jesse Cox, Michael Davis, and Alex Faciani step back across the ages to re-experience that other galaxy, frozen in time, far, far away, just like they did back then, from the very beginning. This is the Star Wars Old Canon Book Club. Available now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Find out more at patreon.com/SWOCBC.
I hope that I'm not Fred Rogers pulling that clown mask down over my face right now, and somebody's just going to...
I've done it so many times, dude. Don't worry, you get used to it.
Okay, well, all right, there it is.
How do you, Jesse, does this change it? Like, how do you just impressed by it? I'm curious what your thoughts are.
I mean, like, again, I'm not going to sit here and be like, that's an alien for Globot 6.
Right. Gun to your head, what do you think it is?
I have no clue. I couldn't tell you. All I know is that it is a thing. In my head, that is a thing that exists. Right? Like, I am sitting here trying to find people.
You think it's a physical object moving through space?
I'm like trying to find people in this subreddit who are like, that's fake, that's BS.
Yeah.
And I can't find any. And even the people who are skeptical are like, I don't know what that is. And I'm looking for a reason to be like, this is fake. But I don't have one yet. And if it's not fake, that means it's real. And if it's real, that means that it's something.
But if it is fake and he did make it, he did a great fucking job being able to make it getting it to interact.
Yeah. And if it is fake, it's brilliant. Yeah.
Do you think that it's a physical object moving through space that you're looking at, Jesse?
I don't know. I
need to watch it again.
It is like, because it moves so quickly, and when you like pause it, it's this bright light. And I don't know if that's just because that's what it is.
But it looks like, because when it gets toward the end, though, like, its angle is changing. It's not the same shape going all the way down. It literally seems like it's turning to, like, follow the sky. You see, it's like, it's horizontal in the beginning, and then it's slightly angled at the end as it's moving into the clouds.
It also appears to be trying to stay in the clouds as they move.
Yes, which would make sense if it's always trying to stay out of sight. If it's intelligent or being driven by computer or whatever.
It's fascinating. Whatever it is, it's fascinating. And anyone listening right now, hopefully we'll link this or stick it in the description or something, because this is like,
yeah, we got you.
Genuinely fascinating.
Imagine if you didn't have a camera and you're one of the people who sees this, and it's for goddamn 5 seconds, and you now have to tell people you saw this.
I wouldn't have ever noticed it at all.
But imagine you are one person who notices it, and now nobody, like, trying to spread the story, and you're just lumped in with everybody else is like, yeah, okay, whatever. But now we have the video, and seeing that thing move is cool.
That's actually one of the things that I'm interested in. Is the original poster posted this thing about it, and the problem I have is that, why was the camera there?
Could he have just been getting like background footage? My understanding is this particular person who caught it is also a YouTuber, like a relatively well-known one out in wherever he was.
Understood. Like, all those things make me ask questions. Like, why was the camera there? What was the purpose of it? Oh, it's a YouTuber? Well, what does a YouTuber gain from, like, those make me be like, okay, a little sus.
I want to take a look at his channel, because if we can get a look at his channel, maybe we could, if he has a lot of just like B-roll footage of nature with his drones, because this is drone footage, then that would make sense why he might just be getting just background footage or a time lapsing or something along those lines. That makes sense to me. I just don't know what kind of footage he makes. God, if we go to his channel and he's like, I'm a CGI guy, I'm gonna be so fucking mad.
He says they're saying, at least I'm reading on the Reddit that the YouTuber is Hungarian, and that they, in the video, aren't saying it's real, and they think it's a swallow. But
they think it's a bird.
I don't know for sure. But like, the link to the video is here.
So the guy who caught the video says he thinks it's a bird.
He thinks it's a swallow. But like, I don't know.
But is he educated in bird law? That's the question.
How high up is that bird if it disappears into the clouds right there? I don't know. It's weird.
To me, it doesn't look like a bird, but I don't know. Maybe this guy knows something I don't know.
What's crazy? Whoa, this video is 2 years old. So why is this brand new on? Interesting. Maybe people just found it?
It's possible they just came across it.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I think that I think that it's interesting that
that's 2 years old.
I think that it's interesting that it's popping out because it's dated 2020.
If it's 2 years old, it makes me believe less that it's a CGI thing and more that it might be real. I feel like he would have come forward at this point.
Well, it's tough, like as I found trying to do some of the more out there, like big alien stories, a language barrier, if you don't have the ability to get somebody who fluently speaks a language to help you figure out what the fuck is being said, it's hard to get a big picture and spread the word on something in an effective way.
Yeah.
And, I can't confirm from this that the guy says it's a swallow because I can't speak Hungarian.
I can't. Yeah. I'm trying to figure out.
Even the tags, even the metadata is in Hungarian.
This video you linked us, is it, Alex? You linked us. If you go to the 8 minute, 2 second mark-ish. Yeah. Is that a totally different Tic Tac? I don't understand what we're looking at.
This looks like the 4K footage, but just with some.
But it's not moving the same. It doesn't dip out. It doesn't. It's it disappears in the clouds differently.
Well, it's not. It's not the. It's slowed down so you can follow it with your eyes.
I think this one is just the same 4K footage that we looked at before, but just.
He puts a circle around it and it's clearly slowed.
It also has some filters. It doesn't look like the same footage, but it definitely is. It definitely is the same footage. I can tell that it is just from the.
Yeah, it's just his footage that he has. It does look it doesn't look as cylindrical.
From all the comments, it seems like the guy is basically saying we don't know what this is because everybody's
of course we don't. Yeah. That's what's interesting is
this guy explaining it is.
I couldn't tell you what this is. And if it's a bird, that bird is a badass. That dude put on a fighter pilot hat and was like, let's go. Honest to God, I don't it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's so weird.
But I love it. I think it's really cool.
Some of the comments are even if it's terrestrial, it's still a technology we don't understand.
Even if it's from here, it's something that I cannot explain.
I love this footage, man. Holy shit. This is so good. It's the best footage I've seen, maybe barring the pilot who buzzed by a different looking UFO that we shared a couple weeks back, which is kind of made the rounds at this point. What's this other video you sent me, Alex?
I sent some footage of swallows.
Oh, okay.
I don't think that really looks the same.
That seems pretty different.
There's similarities.
Sure,
right?
but they're flapping like crazy too, though. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing is, unless this is a swallow where its wings are outside and it's zooming along, these swallows are moving fast, but they're also just flap, 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 flap.
Yeah, they're all zipping around, and they don't hold the same smooth Tic Tac shape that thing does. Yeah, I don't think it's a bird personally, but I mean, like Jesse said,
look at some footage of a swallow and let us know.
Not. What?
Look up some footage of a swallow. If you're listening, I just pulled a random piece of footage of swallows, but maybe if you find a piece of footage that looks more like the Tic Tac, go share it on the subreddit and we can have a look at it.
We got the other stuff that Dean sent us, another Tic Tac one as well. So there's a lot, and then the comparison to the Fairfields, Connecticut UFO that looks exactly the same. I don't know if Connecticut has swallows that zip around, but maybe they do.
It sounds like a place that would, but I don't know enough about birds to tell you.
But I have another video I wanted to share with you as well. This is posted less than a day ago. This comes from Chatham County, NC, North Carolina. It's law enforcement that caught this video, and it is about a minute of weird dancing lights in the sky. He said it was somewhere between 10 to 20,000 feet in the air in altitude, and 3 people, including the supervisor, sat and watched them and then called RDU to see if they had anything on the radar, and they said no. So
this is cops.
Police officers.
Correct. So no real reason to fake this.
This is literally from yesterday. This is submitted 17 hours ago, and you can see in the early part there's 1 or 2 lights. But if you don't want to go through I suggest watching the whole minute and then 9 seconds of it, as you're going to see more appear, and they form a very familiar shape that many people tend to see when these encounters happen. See them slowly separating.
Yeah, this definitely looks like what I would call intelligent motion again.
Yeah, there's going to be more lights that show up, though.
Yeah, I've been watching it, and now there's 3.
Yeah, so they said it lasted over an hour, and it went from 2. It started at 3 lights and went up to 5, and you're going to see all 5 show up.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, there they are. It's extremely dark.
Yeah, it's late at night. But they're probably like that hard to see, but you can see they form a triangle.
Yeah, they totally do.
And then they start to kind of move around a bit. It looks like, and they said this one for an hour.
It looks like a formation, no doubt. Yeah.
You know what the worst part about this footage is? Someone is clearly shining a flashlight or something up at them.
Yeah, they're trying to figure it out. Yeah.
And it's really disturbing, the footage. But
Yeah.
I will say, for most of it, I was like, it could be flares, it could be whatever. But the last 5 seconds, maybe, when like a giant 5-thing triangle shows up, whatever that is, it's cool looking. I don't know what it is, but it looks cool.
Yeah. No, it's again another one of those just kind of fits what most people tend to see. And wait, what? Apparently in the Hungary UFO footage, there's another object that can be seen very briefly. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh my God, you see it go back and forth. It zips over the mountains and then it kind of makes an L shape and goes back.
Yeah.
And but it's like in the raw footage, it's like barely a second long. It's slowed down so you can see it. Yeah, it goes whomp and then it just goes shink, and then it zips off and the light catches it at one moment where you can see it light up and you can see the shape. I want to go back to that raw footage now and see if I can see it there.
That to me, so that one, whatever that is, it seems so close to the ground, and like that seems very tiny. In fact, I would say that's probably I wouldn't put that in the same category. That might be an artifact.
Okay,
that almost like discredits the footage in my mind. It almost makes it look almost more bird-like.
Yeah, it's gonna be bottom left. As soon as you hit play, you're actually gonna see it in the clouds for a second. First, you're gonna see it move. You're gonna see it kind of twinkle down, and then you're going to see it over the mountains.
Oh yeah, totally.
So it comes from the clouds. It zips toward us first up on the upper right of the hill. It kind of disappears, and then we see it again.
Bottom left?
Yeah. So the mountain on the bottom left.
Yeah.
I call it a mountain, but you'll see it there at like right about 3 seconds, just before 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And then you see it again at 4 or 5.
Yeah, and then it bounces back. But before that, right when you hit play, like before the 1 second mark, on the upper right in the cloud area, you can see it kind of come and disappear before it shows up again. You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah. See, that makes me like, I don't know, man.
It almost discredits it, right?
There's something. Here's the thing. It could also be based on this image compared to the original footage.
Yeah.
Someone clearly went in and upscaled this in some way in order to make it visually easier to see the object.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe that is part of what's going on down there. Like it's picking up other things as well, maybe?
Are you looking at the raw footage of it, though?
Yeah, I'm looking at the raw footage, but also going back to the guy's original footage. Yeah. And it's very clear that the big MP4 is either the guy did something to his footage or this footage is... one of them is altered in some way. I don't know which one.
Okay.
And
I think it's the one on the inside the video that we're looking at. It looks treated. It looks like the one that's tracking it. The big one looks raw.
Yeah, the big one feels raw to me. Let me look at the size of the file. It's 82 megs for 6 seconds. That's pretty chunky.
Pretty big.
Makes sense for a raw file, especially 4K. I don't know. That other thing on the left-hand side, it's weird. The thing that zips through the clouds in a very clearly cylindrical shape is still that blows me away still. Like, no matter what may be on the left-hand side, which is still funky to me because it comes out of the clouds, into the clouds, and then it appears only by the side of the mountain before it kind of makes an L turn, very sharp L turn, and zips off out of view. But it's the thing in the sky that's very clear that for that 6 seconds, that I don't know. I don't lose that. This part doesn't make me less impressed.
The more I look at it, this like second additional footage.
Yeah.
The more I look at it, the more it seems like it is a visual sort of like a thing where it looks like because the frame rate, it's closer to the camera than we actually perceive it to be. I would say it's probably like bugs, like a firefly or something like that. Like that, the thing in the sky is something different. But those things,
they're not even the same size. You can even tell.
Yeah, and there's closer to the ground. And one of them, if you go back to that second footage and at 2 seconds actually, when it goes across, that looks like it's closer to the camera than it is the mountains, and it's 100% a bug. I would absolutely believe that to be a bug.
Yeah, I could believe that for sure. It's just the top.
Like
thing.
Just the frame rate picks it up, and the upscaling it makes it look like a blur rather than a bug. But I would say it's probably a bug. Like it's like a Firefly or something.
I really wish I didn't know it was there. It like makes me.
But it's important to know that it's there. You know what I mean?
It's true. Yeah, sure. It just makes me less willing to jump on that original Tic Tac because it seems kind of similar to it in some superficial ways visually. So I don't know.
A little bit, but but at the same time, they're both just like weird light. It's hard to tell what you're looking at.
Looking at that close-up footage, it really does not look like it's some kind of living creature. I'll just say that.
Yeah, no. I don't. Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's a living creature at all. Apparently, too. Also, the U.S.
it might be, but not the kind that we know.
Right. The U.S. was also tracking another weird balloon yesterday. I don't know if you saw that too.
Yeah, that just came out as well.
I didn't see that.
I also, to add, the more I've been like doing the research recently, I'm more believe the things that we shot down over our own U.S. was dumb trash or their own technology, own government's technology at this point. I fully believe it was something weirder. We would not have heard about it.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about. It makes me feel weird to think about it. Actually, it makes me like wonder like what the fuck is going on in a larger way.
Yeah. We are going to be getting another public hearing in June. It will be a congressional public hearing again. So the first one was congressional. The second one was Senate. This one will be congressional again. And really what they're looking for is more info. The stuff that they've requested, they haven't gotten as they were supposed to at this point. And really, hopefully they get the funding that they need. But there's, the past, that's like just a week and a half's worth of videos over since the Senate hearing. It's crazy. I feel like more videos like this are needed. Like more drone captures of weird things. This almost feels like the holy grail of a UFO video if it wasn't for maybe the weird thing in the bottom left.
Yeah, that's it. And this is why I like doing this stuff. Is there was a hype there, like, oh my god, this is amazing. And then if you just stick with it long enough, you're like, okay,
we got to think about it now.
Some inconsistencies, some things that don't make sense, but like it's still phenomenal footage, but it's nice to be like, all right, let's bring it down to earth for a minute. Let's like take a moment.
Yeah, just for a second, let's think about it. Could be an animal, but
it can't be perfect, right? It can't be just like flawless. There's gonna always be some reason to doubt.
There's before we wrap this episode up, the last thing I wanted to talk about was that Christopher Mellon and a few other people that are like at these hearings, testifying at these hearings and talking to the people at the hearings. There's also apparently another branch of the government that is not working with Arrow at all is the Air Force. And the Air Force apparently is also not sharing information with the presidential team that we learned that last month prior to the hearing that info wasn't being shared. And there's now speculation that that there might be a crash retrieval like program at the Air Force that they don't want anybody to fucking know about. And one of the reasons put forward is for them, like the military, everything's a weapon. So once they know we have this, the rest of the countries are going to be zooming after it and trying to get it and do all this stuff. But if they don't know and we keep it secret, we can keep trying to reverse engineer this shit if that's what they're doing. And we don't know because they're not cooperating with Arrow or the Department of Defense. And nobody really knows why, except for a bunch of rumors that are slipping out that can only be taken at face value depending on who you're hearing it from.
Yeah, I vibe with that.
Wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't be surprise me if like just like government branches, CIA and FBI are notorious for never communicating and hating each other and like
things that are like amount to people fucking up and being dumbasses is like what is most convincing to me every time.
Yes. But wasn't all of that after 9/11 put under the Department of Homeland Security purposefully so they could talk and communicate, which is why we have so many leaks and things now because so many people have information and. Actually, at the moment, I think the government is like, we need to cut. Like, we really screwed up. Everyone's walking around with top secret documents and like,
oh yeah, well yeah, that was a recent like revelation that some schmuck in Massachusetts, some 21-year-old, had access to like some of the weirdest classified information because they don't keep track of that shit.
Yeah, when they asked, they were like, he's 21. Why does he have it? I'm like, well, age doesn't determine who gets classified clearance, but also. Everyone apparently. I guess the problem is things are being classified for reasons like if you and I were in the government and we said we were going to lunch and we were going to talk business at lunch, we'd have to classify that email to each other, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's insane. And It wouldn't surprise me. But if there's weapons involved, I would not be surprised. That's even more lockdown. And like,
sure,
if they're trying to reverse engineer something, if they got a crash retrieval, I can see them being able to just wanting to figure out how reverse engineer how they move, because that would change the face of power on the Earth. If we had vehicles could move like that and like be controlled in that manner and zip around and go underwater and go in the air, and
it would be so scary.
We would dominate. Whoever gets that first wins.
Yeah.
It's over. It's over if we can figure it out. So it wouldn't surprise me if the Air Force, for example, is not sharing this information with literally anybody.
You mean the Space Force, bro?
Oh, I know. Man, I wish the Space Force was the one in charge of this shit.
Did you forget Space Force was a thing like everyone else?
Yeah, take money away from them and give it to Arrow, please. Like, we don't need Space Force, okay? We don't need to commoditize fucking space right now. We're just trying to figure out what reality is.
We don't know if we need to commoditize space right now. We don't know what's going on.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's there's so much more we want to talk about, but I want to talk about rather than we want to talk about. But we're already over the hour mark. I just want to leave final thoughts. How do you feel about where we are as like in terms of like just UFO activity happening? Like, what are your thoughts on how much the activity is like kind of kicked up? Do you feel it's group or like hysteria being kind of like formulating on a more generalized consciousness? Like people are just seeing things because they're scared, and that's kind of what happens during war times.
It certainly seems to be shifting away from ridiculous to realistic.
Yeah.
I don't know beyond that what specific facts seem to be true or not. And, this is a drum I beat a lot on the show when we talk about UFOs. But it does, in fact, seem like something may be going on beyond what we're being told. And if it was my money, for my money, I would say it's either something that another country is working on that we don't have.
Which would be so scary if that's true.
Yeah. Or something that we, like the government itself, has no idea what it is.
I'm more apt to believe that because, I mean, people have been seeing these things move like this since the 50s. If it's another country, you feel like it would have been more prominent in their military at this point.
Used.
Yeah. Jesse, what about you?
I question whether it is more is happening or we're just catching more because there's more ways to record and see. But also, I'm always fascinated by the actual fact that every time there are, I don't want to say
nuclear tensions,
like every time there's like drama on a world stage, even but not like war, but just anything. Sure. Anytime there's like diplomatic tensions or an attack or even like positive things, things that could be anxiety or stressors for people. More of this stuff is seen, be it paranormal or extraterrestrial or whatever, more is seen. And I wonder again if that might be an us thing, the human brain sees what it wants to see sometimes. And that could be a factor as well. So I don't particularly know. I just know that all of it coming together the way it has, there's very clearly, it is if you're like out there looking for UFOs or whatever, this is clearly the time to be looking. So
the technology, and the more we can get on video like this, the more we can say it's not a hallucination that people are having because we have visual evidence of it. For everybody listening, I highly suggest you go check out this in particular, the Tic Tac UFO footage. I will endeavor to make sure the link is in the description. But if you are listening in your car or whatever, you need to go see this footage. It really looks crazy. It's nuts. It's the best Tic Tac footage that exists. Period. End of story.
It is 6 seconds long, but somehow at 4, you could blow it up on your TV and just watch it. It's that clear.
Yeah.
It's nuts. Go watch it. I'm curious to hear thoughts about it in the comments as we wrap things up. And we're going to go off to do a mini-sode. We owe you a mini-sode from last week anyway, so we'll go do it right now. Head over to patreon.com/ChilluminatiPod to jump into the correct $15 tier to get those mini-sodes along with the ad-free episodes, the art, and all that good shit that can be found.
It's a wonderful website, and if you want, maybe soon I'll draw some personal stories out of Mathis's life for him to go deep.
I'm down for that.
It has to be called Tales from the Crypt. That's so funny.
I would love to do that. I don't know how long that series would be, but I'm curious.
It doesn't matter. Like we'll milk it for as long as it's worth.
Too long is the answer.
Well, we're going to wrap the things up here. Thank you guys so much for listening. We love you very much. Go check us out on all the socials. Please, if you listen on Spotify, follow us over on Spotify. It's a big thing that they track. If you have time to drop a comment, please do leave a rating wherever you listen. Let people know, leave a review. All that shit is so important. And if you want to go above and beyond, that's what Patreon is for. For everybody who does that, thank you. You are our lifeblood. And we'll be back next week with a brand new episode. We'll see you then. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. Anyway, me and my wife were sitting outside indulging on our porch one night, enjoying ourselves. I needed to go to the bathroom, so I stepped back inside, and after a few moments, I hear my wife go, "Holy shit, get out here." So I quickly dash back outside, and she's looking up at the sky in awe. I look up too, and there's a perfect line of dozen lights traveling across the sky.